Has anybody ever quit on their way to a goal? Has anybody ever gone and hid under some pillows like that because it got a little real and you weren't able to make that progress that you were planning on and the feedback was negative, so you just stopped and quit? Are there places in your life where you've given up on a goal or given up on a dream? So when my daughter was younger and she used to have a tantrum or she'd get upset or she wasn't acting, the way or behaving the way that I thought she should, I would get upset. I would start to get upset. Maybe I'd feel inadequate or just frustrated because we had some things that we had to do and this was going to slow us down. But then I realized all I was getting from her was feedback. If she was angry, if she was having a tantrum, if she was crying in the middle of a Walmart, she was only giving me feedback. She was telling me either she was tired, she was hungry, maybe she was really excited because she knew that her grandmother was coming to town. Maybe she just had some ice cream and now she's coming down off her sugar high. But whatever it was, her behavior was just feedback to me. And when I realized that, I was able to change my response. Instead of getting angry and only making the situation worse, I was able to respond in a different way, with compassion, with understanding, sometimes a little fascination. Like, how do you keep screaming for so long? But I was able to change the response and therefore reach that goal or reach that success that I wanted, which was a better relationship with my daughter and a better understanding of her needs. How many people have gotten angry at the feedback that they were given? You don't have to raise your hand. I'll admit that I've gotten angry before. But then you think about it, like, how silly is that? Have you been driving down the highway and your speedometer gives you feedback and says you're going a little fast? Do you pull the car over, rip the speedometer out and start braking it? So if you don't get angry at that feedback, you recognize it as feedback. You change your response, you lift up on your foot a little bit, or you tell the Uber driver to slow down, and you get the outcome that you want. So when somebody is giving you feedback in your life, whether it's showing up from another person or showing up from the results that you're getting, if you get angry at it, you're not going to get that outcome that you want. It makes me think of back when I was a pilot in the Marine Corps. And I'd take off on a flight, and we'd be going a long distance, and I'd realize as we're flying, I'm constantly making small adjustments to the controls. Anybody who's ever flown knows that you don't hold it with two hands, just for demonstration purposes. And if you're an aerospace engineer, you might think that the software is flying, but in actuality, it's the pilot. But the entire time I'm flying, I'm making small corrections to the flight control surfaces because it was never really one time that I was directly on course to my destination. And even if I was on course for a moment, we'd face things like a gust of wind would come and knock us slightly off course. Or a weather cell would show up and we'd have to deviate from our original plan. But because I had my instruments in front of me, I was able to get feedback and I was able to get myself back on course. And by the time I got to the destination, I was exactly where I wanted to be because I used that feedback to my advantage and made those course corrections. What feedback might you be getting every day, every week that is giving you an indication of where you can make course corrections? If you're tired every morning when you wake up, maybe that's feedback that you're not eating well, or you're not getting enough sleep, or there's too much stuff on your mind. If your bank balance isn't where you'd like, if your credit score isn't where you'd like, maybe that's feedback that you can use to your advantage to make some changes to get those outcomes that you'd rather have.